Yeah. Woo! All right, next on our roster. You may have heard of this guy and his band, the Alan Greene Band. Hello. They've been around since forever. And inducting him is going to be my cohort in crime through many CBS events, Roe Daly.
It's very rare that I get to be on this stage without Terry. Come on, Alan. Yeah, you are. Come on. Come on, Alan. You can sit down if you want. You don't have to. Yeah, you can sit. I want you to sit. So Bob said that he was nervous and he didn't know why. And poor Ken was like, "Why is your knee shaking? What's the matter with you?" I said, "I don't know. I'm just kind of nervous." And he said, "You're fine." And I'm like, "Okay." And I thought about it and I was like, "I'm fine. I have 50 pages of notes. And I can't even look at them because I can't figure out which ones I should say first." And I'm hearing all these things about how people are talking about how they met and all that. And like they like to blame the person for what they did, started it, and hired them, whatever. But I got to blame Ellen because I was saying, I got to tell a story about Ellen, but this is the one. I would go to his Sunday night jams, and I went to see his band, and one of the Blues Society board members were there, and this was back in 2010, 9. And Alan kept saying, "You should get involved with them." And I said, I don't know. I don't know if I should do that, Alan. Really, I think you should. I really think you should. So lo and behold, I did. And that was quite the experience. But during that whole time, I was going to his jam every Sunday night. And anytime I could go to one of his gigs, I would try to be there. And they're really, no offense, you guys, because you're all awesome, and I love hearing you all play. But there really wasn't anybody else I'd rather see. She knows that, because she yells at me all the time. "Well, you have to go see Alan." I'm like, "Yeah." And over that period of time, I learned a lot about him, and I learned about the way he plays and the types of music, and I got an education from everybody at the jams. But when you talk to Alan, you learn something just a little bit more than the facts. He has insight into how the music is played, and he has a timing and an approach. And as I learned more about the music, and I started watching him, I was like, how does he do that? You know? And that was part of our conversation. When I talked to him, we had a fairly nice conversation. And I asked him, "Well, where did you learn about this stuff?" And he said, "Well, I used to play trumpet. And I was in the high school band, and I would play trumpet. And I learned all about music and how to be a good musician and a supporting musician when I played trumpet." And I kind of bring that to the band, which made perfect sense. And he told me about all the different bands that he was in and all the opportunities he played and able to record. As I asked him, like, "Did you ever record?" "Well, I think so. Let's see. I think I recorded here. And oh yeah, I recorded this other one." But my important one was that he recorded Angel Love with Santana, or that Santana played. And I absolutely love that song. And he told me a little bit more about the connections. And I mean, he's been playing for a long time. And that's just a long time. So he has a lot of people that he played with, and a lot of people that he impacted and introduced to playing, and all those wonderful things. But it was so hard for me to come up with all these things to talk about. And you guys can read all of it in the program, so I'm not going to read it to you. But I thought about his qualifications. Does he have qualifications? Yeah, he's played for a long time. And he's continued to bring new life to the songs that he plays, as well as brought new music to recordings that he's done in the blues style. He's been a fixture on the Cleveland music scene since the late 60s, after, of course, graduating from Shaker Heights High School. He has documented through his recordings and writing songs. He's recorded with his band, the Alan Greene Band, as well as many other bands and projects, and that's all kind of listed in there. And I can't even remember all the things he said, except that I recorded with Trent Reznor, and I went, huh? What? That was a story. And then the backstories. You have to listen to him sometime. Just sit and talk to him, because he's got great backstories. And I told him I'm going to have to do his documentary. He's been an influence in promoting the blues music. He was one of the first musicians that did the Cleveland Blues Society jams and the All-Star jams with Bob Frank, and I think Bubba was also in that, as well as Gary Kraft. And he's brought a lot of people into this, including me. I know that he's influenced a lot of players because I've watched him at the jam. People have come there, they're afraid to get up there, but he encourages them. And he's always been very welcoming, not only to musicians, but to people who come to visit. He held court on Sunday nights for over 20 years at C-Bars, one of my favorite places. And when I started going there, I just kind of like couldn't not go. I met Alan at the Parkview. And when I got there that night, John Adams was there. Tony Bird, Sally was there. There was two other people there, I think. John Palicki was there. And that was it. That was all that was there. And Struss was playing that night. So I got to hear his solo, and I just kind of looked kind of funny at him, and I said to him, you kind of breathe through that guitar, you know? And he looked at me kind of funny. And he said, yeah, I guess so. I've been doing it a long time. And that's kind of what struck for me, is that when you hear Alan play, you don't hear notes. You hear him speaking to you. You hear him communicating his soul. You hear that expression. And he reaches out, and he touches you, and he brings you in. And that's what he told me, is that it is that relationship between the audience and the musician. And that when those special moments come, it comes because of you all. And that he doesn't always know when it's going to come. But when it comes, you know it. He has performed a long time. He's a master at his craft. He knows his guitar. He knows his materials that he's working with. His music and performance is ever evolving. I think that's one of the things that we've always said is you can hear Alan play the same song 20 times in a row, and it's never going to be the same. There's always going to be something different. There's always something that he's going to give in that he didn't have in the last one. And he's developed that through his understanding of his instrument and to learning how to bring that sound from it. He told me about his influences with Glenn Schwartz and the Beatles and all those people, and that he went out there and wanted to learn to play guitar. And when he did, he wanted to see how they were making those sounds. So it was a research project for him as well. And then he went back and practiced it. So I just have to say that, you guys all talked about it before. I was very honored for Bill to ask me if I would like to induct Alan. There's nobody that I would rather be able to induct into the Hall of Fame. My involvement with the Blues Society was directly as a result of my relationship with Alan. I have enjoyed that, and I am absolutely honored to call you my friend. And I want to welcome you and congratulate you on being inducted to the Cleveland Blues Society Hall of Fame. I love you, Alan.
Thank you, Ro. Ro Daly, thank you so very much. That's terrific. Why do I feel like this is a bar mitzvah or something? Or at least a wedding or something. It's a bris. A bris, yeah. I'm very grateful, very, very appreciative of being included the Cleveland Blues Society's Hall of Fame. I'm real proud to be indicted. See, Bob Frank went ahead and stole my line. Indicted. Very proud to be inducted to this particular class with Mikey Delia and Bob Frank and Michael Bay and Norm and John Adams, for sure, absolutely. John Adams was a wonderful guy. And in fact, just to digress for a second, and this sounds like I'm kind of trying to toot a horn here, maybe of my own horn, whatever, but John Adams said to me so many times, not just once or twice, but when he was doing the Blues Cruise, which he was heading, he said to me privately, you're the first guy I asked to do this. And I said, why? I said, well, and he was a generous guy, so he went ahead and flattered me, if you will. He said, because, I got you. And then somebody, the next guy, talking to about this new idea, he said, well, who's doing it? There goes, well, who's doing it? And then he had, he mentioned me, and then Butch Armstrong. He said, once they see you guys are doing this, it got easy. So I thought that was very flattering, and I don't know how, I take it as the truth, because he didn't just say it once. He probably said it 3 or 4 different times over the years. And I never quite understood or believed him, but anyway, John was that way. So anyway, to be involved with this class of Blues Society inductees, I'm really flattered by that. I couldn't pick a greater group of folks. I want to thank the Blues Society. I want to thank Ro Daly. Thank my wife, my most supporting wife over here. Sally, I love you. My cousin, Kenny, is back there, Kenny Bosson and his lovely wife. I see so many familiar faces and so many friends. And real quick, and I'm not going to drag this out because I didn't really prepare anything to say, but 2 of my former bosses were previously inducted. Jimmy Lay, I used to play with Jimmy Lay's Coosa River Band in the mid-70s. And I remember when he first called me, I was kind of in between bands. I'm one of these lifer guys, I never knew what I was going to do. I never had a plan. I just knew that I loved to play. And it was encouraged all along the way by a lot of friends and peers. And so when I got a call from Jimmy Lay in about 1974 perhaps, I got real excited because, this is a blues thing. And I always, in my heart, wanted to be in a blues band. I mean, I played in a lot of rock bands and this and that and pop bands and over the years, but blues was always in my heart in terms of playing as a guitar player. And so it was really cool. I'll always remember it. I was really excited. I got to play with Jimmy Lane. It's a real blues thing, and finally, all right. And then, 10 years after that, I got a call from Mr. Stress, Bill Miller, another inductee of the Blues Society Hall of Fame. And Bill was, both of these guys, both Jimmy and Bill Miller, were characters, shall I say, in a good sense, you know what I mean? A lot of goods, a lot of bads, crazy times, and anybody I've ever worked with who's been really focused at what they do have been a lot of characters. And Stress was a character, and as was Jimmy. You could have a wonderful time of your life, or you could have crash and burn moments, and a lot of personality things. So that was really awesome to be a member of the Mr. Stress Blues Band, and during that heyday era of the Euclid Tavern. That was his home base, and every week it was a gig you would look forward to because you knew exactly what was going to happen. You knew it was going to be packed. You knew the dance floor was going to be crowded. Who says you can't dance to blues? I said, come to see Mr. Stress at the Euclid Tavern. If you can't dance to the blues, you can't dance. That's a fact. So anyway, that was great. I got to play with my two local mentors, and as it is, Hall of Fame inductees. So I feel real proud of all that. And I don't know what else to tell you, except I'm very grateful. Cleveland Blues Society, Bill Cotels, Terry, thank you so very much. And Ro Daly once again. Thank you.